10 first. Chica was the first and has seen everything, at least according to Ultimate Custom Night, since one of Withered Chica's voice lines quite literally says, "I was the first. I have seen everything."
I was the first. I have seen everything.
Which does mostly suggest that Chica was the first victim in the series. However, it may also suggest that she was the first of the missing children, with another potential victim before her. This is really the question that we need to ask. Was Chica's line about being the first victim ever, or about being the first of the missing children? Because while yes, it's a spirit, it's still the spirit of a child who would exaggerate the phrase seeing everything, especially when William would most likely have developed his MO after his first kill, his MO being the whole dressing up like Spring Bonnie thing. And coming up with an excuse to lure a kid away would require more confidence than someone who hasn't killed anybody would normally have, at least with normal serial killers. So could we have been right all along that Charlotte was the first victim? And if that's true, does that point towards William's original motivation? And at 9, the Bite of 87. The Bite of 87 is a still long-held debate in the FNAF community. At first, some thought that Freddy had caused it due to the handprint on his head. Then we suspected Mangle, and then Fredbear. However, one contender we never expected was Chica. This is a fairly dismissed theory, but there is a line from Toy Chica in Ultimate Custom Night that states, "Where's my beak? Lodged in your forehead, of course."
Where's my beak? Lodged in your forehead, of course.
It's important to note here that the Bite of 87 involves the character losing the frontal lobe of their brain to an animatronic bite. With the frontal lobe being at the forehead, this seems to indicate that perhaps Toy Chica is the one who caused said bite, especially when we know that FNAF 2 takes place in 1987 and there is no mention of a bite. This is also a reason why we thought that the culprit could be Mangle. There's also the issue of the hint that Scott gave MatPat and other theorists during one of MatPat's live streams. Why would Toy Chica be missing her beak? And maybe Scott answered that in this game, as he's known to do. And at 8, Hot Chicken Sandwich. Now I make quite a few jokes about the amount of unsafe for Virgin Mobile users Chica fan art there is, but was that intentional by Scott? I know this sounds crazy, but what was the point of making Chica thicker than Kim K eating a bowl of oatmeal in the second game? I mean, the game got so popular it warranted a sequel within 87 days, so why not reuse the same model instead of making one that would add to the increasingly hormonal fan art of the characters? What if it was to promote the game more? I mean, in a way, not safe for work fan art is a form of advertising, with these character drawings being shared across plenty of subreddits rather than just one specific to FNAF, and all over Imager with more tags like furry and whatnot. So could the slim thickening of Chica be an intentional game choice by Scott to get more foul fouls into the series? Like what I did there? I have no idea, but I mean the latest game was called Fury's Rage, and Scott even felt the need to point out that it was not Furry's Rage, plus the slim version of Chica has become the more used one, with Funtime and Glamrock Chica both using that same silhouette, so who knows? I think we all do.
Let's go somewhere more private.
And it's 7, Dogbait. It was already a mystery as to how Afton managed to lure these kids away from their parents, even if it was with characters they trusted. It's a wonder why they didn't call out stranger danger or something similar. But thanks to Chica, and more importantly her high school years, we were able to get an answer. Afton manipulated the kids through their grief. For Chica, it was her dead dog, which we see multiple times, but get a solid answer for an Ultimate Custom Night during the intermissions for Toy Chica, the high school years, which sounds like a video someone put on the orange YouTube, but after ensuring that we all knew Chica was 18 at the time. Oh god, hopefully that's not an actual video. No matter, after Chica said that she would say that someone ran over Twisted Wolf's dog in front of her house, I think we all figured it out. We had ideas beforehand, but this just set it in stone. But this also begs the question, if Twisted Wolf's dog was hit, was it a family member or a domesticated descendant of his own species? Because either way, that's weird. And at 6, Fruity Maze. Fruity Maze is where we got the idea that the dead dog was what lured Chica away to her ultimate death, since in the Fruity Maze minigame we can see flashes of a girl playing the arcade game whenever we are playtesting it. However, as the maze levels continued, they also get more gruesome, showing dead dogs instead of fruit, and eventually having you trail bloody footprints behind you, which is horrible, but as the images get worse, so does the reflection, eventually showing the blonde girl crying with Spring Bonnie standing behind her. Once you complete the final level, we hear the horn of a car as text appears on screen, saying, "He's not really dead, he's over here, follow me," which is ultimately William luring us to our fate. Time ended. At least we get to see our dog again. There's actually another theory that Afton uses the dog to possess Mangle, and that's why Mangle's moving in FNAF 2 minigames, but also it was his first experiments with Remnant, but that's not a Chica theory, so I'll leave it at that for now. Halfway through into number 5, high school years. Do the high school years for Toy Chica actually represent the original missing children along with Charlotte? That's a good question. The series of intermissions revolves around Toy Chica and her desire to be with many boys in her school, including Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Pig Patch, Twisted Foxy, the Puppet, and Funtime Foxy, not in that order. While these aren't the original 5 animatronics, there are certainly some considerations to make here. Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Funtime Foxy, and the Puppet are fairly obvious. They each represent at least a version of their animatronic, whereas Twisted Fox and Pig Patch can be harder to place. The Twisted Fox is actually kind of simple, with them being the outlier and the most deceptive, like Golden Freddy, which would leave Pig Patch to be Chica's representation, since after all, she is the protagonist, and pigs and chickens are both farm animals. But this could also just be a symbol of how Chica was the first victim, and has seen even the puppet get killed, cause you know, she has body parts in her bag of all the people she's loved. Since I'm sure Scott knew that that would be a confusing line, perhaps this is his way of clearing it up. And at 4, Shadow Chica. One question a few people have had since FNAF 2 is, where is Shadow Chica? Why doesn't Chica have a shadow animatronic? Some consider this proof that these shadowy figures are works of the spring-lock versions of Freddy and Bonnie, since it's in essence the only thing that these two characters have in common, and it would explain why there's no Chica variant of the Shadows. But it doesn't explain Shadow Dee Dee from Ultimate Custom Night. I mean, I guess it's possible that the shadow animatronics are spring-lock victims or spirits kicked out of the various suits, but where could a possible Shadow Chica be? What if Shadow Chica is actually contained in the cupcake? Chica's cupcake has been confirmed to be an entirely separate animatronic, at least until Illumix comes out saying those fast facts aren't canon. But until that point, the reason for no Shadow Chica could just be that it had somewhere to go. Bonnie and Freddy don't have another animatronic, only a guitar and a microphone, and that wouldn't be enough for the spirit of a spring-locking victim or even one of Afton's victims. So could the fan named Carl the Cupcake be the secret Shadow Chica that we've been looking for? Getting close to the end, and in number 3, puppet stuffing. We as theorists have been running with the idea that William stuffed the bodies into the suits for 7 years. That in order to hide the bodies, William put them in the animatronics, and somehow the cops were too incompetent or were being paid off not to check them. But what if we were wrong? What if someone else had stuffed the animatronics? What if it was the puppet? I mean, this isn't a new idea. Map had suggested it when talking about FNAF 2 oh so long ago. In the Give Gifts Give Life minigame, we see the puppet giving presents to dead kids because it thinks they're sad. But when that doesn't work to liven their spirits, see what I did there? Instead, it gives them life. Only at this point do we see the animatronic heads of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica. And what about Golden Freddy, you ask? Well, he's there, but he only appears for a few frames after you put the final head on and gets quickly covered up by the Golden Freddy jump scare. So there we go. Does that settle it? Well, we can't say for certain. Since this is only 8-bit, we could assume that they're only displayed as dead kids because Scott wants the audience to understand that, and it also doesn't make sense that the puppet would hide the bodies, basically giving William an out, especially being the daughter of Henry and highly intelligent, at least for an animatronic possessed by a dead kid. Penultimately, and at number 2, Funtime Chica. The existence of Funtime Chica was something many poultry enthusiasts were excited for during the lead up to Sister Location's release. However, much to the dismay of some very not safe for work Reddit pages, there was no Funtime Chica. Where was she? Well, thanks to some code searching on the Scott Games website, we found our answer. Funtime Chica was simply rented out. To where? A new and unheard of location called Chica's Party World. This was easy to work out using maintenance logs and a slightly abbreviated form of this new restaurant. Whether it was new or had just been acquired, that explains where Funtime Chica was. And it was just a theory until Ultimate Custom Night came out that gave us a real canon version of Funtime Chica. But I have to be honest, the fan-made version without the beak was cooler in my opinion. However, that whole game does take place in Afton's brain while he's in a coma, so maybe it's not a real animatronic. Finally, in at number 1, SUSIE. This is again all but confirmed at this point, basically being considered canon by basically everyone. However, it's still just a theory, at least until Scott confirms it. So let's humor ourselves, shall we? Who is the one possessing Chica? Most assume it to be a young blonde girl named Susie, thanks to FNAF 3 and FNAF 6 as well as the Fruity Maze minigame. FNAF 3's ending features the heads of the original 4 or 5 animatronics, depending on what ending you get, laying on the ground with lights either on or off in their heads, again depending on what ending you get. However, the place placement of the heads is something to take note of, since the FNAF 6 Lorekeeper ending features the gravestone picture that also has a similar placement to the heads, with one remaining mysterious and away from the others, that is representing Golden Freddy behind the grass, and Cassidy, the whole shebang. The other graves go as follows: Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, and Jeremy, and the animatronic heads go Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie. And since the girl name and the girl animatronic are in the same place, we feel like it's pretty solid. Plus, Susie in the books is described as blonde, and the blonde girl in Fruity Maze is like the only other blonde girl we see aside from Elizabeth, but she's in Baby and we already know that. Boom!
Number 10, first as in... On part 1 of this list, Connor, for his number 10 point, decided to talk about the UCN's statement from Chica that she was the first and that she had seen it all. For my list, I also wanted to talk about this sentiment, but focus on a different meaning for said claim. What if Chica wasn't talking about being the first victim, but instead was actually somehow talking about being the first animatronic to have been made? Just because the spirits possess the animatronics doesn't mean they might not also be able to tap into the memory banks of said animatronic they are possessing, and perhaps blend their own knowledge and personality with that animatronic that they possess. We know that Fredbear's Diner is often thought of as being one of the first restaurants, implying that Chica couldn't be really the first animatronic, as she's not known to have been there. But what if there was another, yet unknown previous restaurant that we haven't seen in the games that she was a part of? Or what if she'd simply been made but wasn't being actively used at the time? Or was another Fredbear Diner animatronic that was like repurposed somehow? Number 9, Phone Guy. The death of Phone Guy is still a bit of a mystery. Many think that Freddy or Golden Freddy were the animatronics responsible, but it's more than likely that all the animatronics and not just those two were in on it. After all, the last recording from FNAF 1 where we clearly hear Phone Guy talking to us, we also seem to hear noises that come from each of the animatronics present in the game. Except perhaps for Bonnie, well, we hear a groan, which I suppose could be Chica or Bonnie. Or it could be both of them just gasping and groaning there. I can't do the sound, but it sounds something like that. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more scary FNAF lists, maybe involving Chica, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Also, I know you want more scary FNAF Chica lists. I see all you Chica fans out there, I see ya. Number 8, gender identity. What if Chica's gender identity doesn't actually come from the animatronic's appearance as female, but instead comes from the spirit that possesses her? While still yet fully unconfirmed, it's heavily implied, and I mean heavily implied, and mostly accepted among the FNAF community that Susie is the one possessing Chica. Oddly enough, based on the tombstones that we see at the end of FNAF 3, Susie appears to be the only inherently female name. Now, of course, Susie could be a boy's name, and who knows, Fritz could be a girl's name. We don't really know for sure, but I'm just talking about implications. This could imply that it is actually Susie and the others who possess the suits who imbue the suit with their true gender identity, as opposed to it being based on the animatronic's name or their appearance. Because like I said, Susie seems to be the only female name there, and then Chica's like the only female animatronic of the main ones, I believe. I mean, I don't know, they are animatronics. So what is their sex or their gender? Number 7, teenager. Based on Chica's high school years, it also seems highly possible that Susie might not be as young as we think she is, and could even be a teenager. The problem with this theory is that it seems to contrast with Susie's appearance in Pizzeria Simulator, where we see her face seemingly reflected in the game during the Fruity Maze minigame. Here she appears younger, but based on Toy Chica's high school years, the episodic interludes from UCN, it seems as though we could be seeing a very strange and likely distorted glimpse into Susie's life. Although she wasn't always a murderous animatronic, she likely was a student who possibly had lots of crushes on the boys at school. And so that part could be true. Which would then mean, if those were her memories, that she was a teenager? Number 6, growing up. The other implication here with Toy Chica's high school years and it being Toy Chica who is shown with the other animatronics instead of Susie with other students is that this is meant to represent the spirits who possess the animatronics, like Susie, are actually still maturing and aging as time goes on, despite them not being alive and no longer having bodies. The high school years could actually be meant to show us that Susie has possessed Chica for such a long time, for so long, that she has moved from being a kid into a teenager mentally as the years have gone on. So maybe these spirits are actually growing up in the animatronics, which I don't know, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It's something. Number 5, food connection. We know that Chica has a thing with food, right? But what does this mean for her character? Is it Chica's programming that makes her obsessed with snacks, or is it the spirit that possesses her? Or is it meant to be some other more insidious connection from the games to real life? On my Freddy's theory list, I talked about a certain real-world case involving killings that happened at Chuck E. Cheese in 1993 in Aurora, Colorado. While Freddy's connection to one of the victims in that case is more loose in comparison, Chica's seems to be more solid. The first victim in that incident was attacked and killed while cleaning up the salad bar. She also happened to be female. Both of these facts seem to connect that victim to Chica, who also presents as a female and who is associated with food in the games. If the games are inspired by that real world event, but it kinda seems like they are based on all the evidence that we have. Number 4, out of this world. Is Logbook Chica even a real animatronic? If she was, where did she come from? Is she the original model but extremely degraded and worn down? I mean, it seems so. She appears in the 8th Fazbear Frights book Gumdrop Angel in the 3rd story What We Found. Here she appears to torment Hudson, but something interesting is that Hudson seemingly works at the Fazbear Fright location, which we see in FNAF 3. If, of course, this is the same reality and same location as from the games. However, it should be noted that in FNAF 3, the only real animatronic we saw was Springtrap. So if this is the same reality, where was Logbook Chica in the games? Based on what we've seen in the games, or I guess haven't seen, I suppose, this Chica theory actually opens the door to a bigger general theory, that the books and games from the franchise exist in alternate realities, and that the FNAF multiverse is perhaps bigger than we could even possibly fathom. Number 3, voice mimicry. Logbook Chica also seems to have some interesting abilities when she appears in the 8th Fazbear Frights book story, What We Found. She was shown as being able to mimic the voice of someone Hudson cared about, his crush, Faith. When Chica attacks him, he attempts to fight her off, but she manages to make him pause for a moment in his attack when she mimics Faith's voice and says, "I like you." However, eventually Hudson resumes fighting back and eventually defeats Logbook Chica, but this still makes me wonder, if this Chica was once the original model, is it possible that Chica has had the ability to mimic voices all along? Is it possible that the newer models also possess this ability, like across the board? We know some animatronics that can do this, but I feel like Chica's never been one of them. Number 2, Phantom Logbook Chica. An alternate theory is that the books and games are set in the same reality but allow us to get a glimpse of untold stories and unseen characters from that world. If that were true, however, then it would be likely that Logbook Chica is actually not a real character, but is instead a hallucination, much like the phantom animatronics that we experience in FNAF 3. Logbook Chica in that case could be seen as an alternative phantom animatronic all of her own. This would also mean that Chica likely never really had or was capable of voice mimicry, like we saw her use on Hudson. In that case, it would have been Hudson's imagination that gave her his crush, Faith's voice. Number 1, Chica's Party World. I have more questions than answers for this theory, but still, it's something that I think we need to talk about. Especially because Funtime Chica was so hyped before the release of Sister Location, people were so excited to see Funtime Chica, maybe a little too excited, and then she just never appeared. It turns out that this is because Funtime Chica was currently rented out and in use in Chica's Party World. At least that's what the trail of breadcrumbs we were fed led us to believe. But Chica's Party World is never mentioned in Sister Location and hasn't been brought up in the games ever since we learned of it through the source code for the Sister Location's teasers. So where is Chica's Party World, if it ever existed? And more importantly, when is Chica's Party World? And is Funtime Chica still out there, potentially? Or is this just an Easter egg loose end that will just never be resolved? I have more questions, like I said, than answers, but let me know what you think in the comments.
And 10, Logbook Chica. Is there a connection between Glamrock Chica and the ruined Chica we see in the logbook? We know that it can't be Withered Chica, just due to different parts being present and missing, which could be explained away since Withered Chica, as we see her, could just be a more run-down version than the Logbook Chica. However, the logbook seems to come before FNAF 6, and FNAF 2 was the first game in the timeline, so this version is new newer than the withered Chica, so who could this mysterious Chica version be? Perhaps it was a teaser towards the new Chica and the rest of Security Breach. After all, the glam rock animatronics may just be rebuilt originals or use some of the same parts, hence the disrepair. The Logbook Chica could have some form of connection to this new Chica, except I don't know exactly what it could be. What do you think? Do you think that Logbook Chica is a version of Glamrock Chica, or do you think it's something else? Be sure you let me know down below. And at 9, one of many. Are there multiple Chica animatronics? Or I guess just multiple animatronics of the various characters throughout the Pizzaplex? Honestly, it's possible. It would make sense. Like, if this place is supposed to be filled with kids who want to play mini golf with Monty, are they just supposed to wait for the single animatronic to make his rounds? It seems like the more likely or more business savvy scenario would be to have multiple animatronics of the same character positioned at different locations across the Pizzaplex, so the kids don't have to go looking so hard for their favorites. Like if there's a Monty at every other hole or something at mini golf, it's like he's caught up with the family playing on that hole instead of just there not being any Monty. Same with Chica. Would she have multiple versions all over the place just to satisfy the dads who, let's be honest, are only bringing their kids there after their horrible reputation because Glamrock Chica is slim thick? It seems like the wisest decision business-wise, because it would keep the kids coming back, because if the animatronics are hard to find, why would they go? They could just go to normal mini putt. But we all know that Fazbear Entertainment isn't the most business savvy company. FNAF AR Springtrap. And at 8, dinner time. We all know that Chica loves pizza, but I feel like pizza would be more Freddy's thing since he's the mascot, right? Well, we know that Chica loves food, and perhaps she loves it a little too much. She is, after all, so far the only animatronic that we've seen in the kitchen, which I mean, might be a little, bad for Scott. I mean, Scott's already stepped down, so what else can he do? But if Chica really does love food, what if she isn't after us at all, but rather is trying to grab us so that she can bring us to the food court? Look, I know it sounds weird, but you have to know that there is a place in Toronto called Chica's Chicken. And I can only talk about it if I bring up Chica wanting food, so pretty much that's why this number is here. That's the only reason. But I still might be onto something. A load of people are guessing that Chica is going to be a good guy. What if she, like a loving partner, is just trying to make sure that you ate dinner today? It could be a thing. In FNAF VR, instead of jump scaring us in the pizza party minigame, we see Chica get distracted by pizza. So maybe she just wants us to get that yum yum in our tum tum. Huh? Did you ever think about that? And yes, this is a scary theory because a place called Chica's Chicken actually exists. That's why it's scary. I have it saved on Google Maps in places I want to go. And at 7, Harley Quinn. Is Glamrock Chica actually based on or inspired by Harley Quinn from DC Comics? Now, I'm gonna go a little bit top 10 nerd on you for a minute, but I saw this comment left on the official Security Breach gameplay trailer, saying that while Vanny does seem Harley-esque, Chica is a much closer match, thanks to the pink on her costume and the murderous intent, even though originally she was trying to be good, in reference to the hardware they installed on the toy animatronics. Plus, Chica is very much looked at in a similar way to Harley, and I hate that I have to say that, where they're both, quote, psycho yet sexy, as some Redditors are putting it, which is just weird. Psycho isn't sexy, okay? It's not a good thing. Nevertheless, could this interpretation be more Harley Quinn inspired? I doubt it, but if she ends up using her guitar like a hammer, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it at that point because it will basically be confirmed. If the other animatronics would be supervillains, or I guess maybe superheroes, even though I doubt it, who do you think that they would be? I think that Monty would either be Solomon Grundy or Hulk, but like evil, and then like Roxanne would be like Cheetah. I don't know about Glamrock Freddy. He's giving me more Star Wars vibes with like the Tauntaun mechanics. Yeah, if you know, you know. And at 6, rebuilt toy. Could Glamrock Chica possibly be a rebuilt toy animatronic? It's very possible, considering how the two share the same shape, figure, and silhouette. And to our knowledge, the toy animatronics were scrapped, but also potentially saved for a later date. The only issue that I see with this is that FNAF 2 is the earliest game in the series, so if they scrapped it, that means that they would have to hold on to these animatronics and not reuse them for parts for over 30 years. At this point, more like 40 plus by the time Security Breach rolls around. I don't actually know what year this would have taken place in. Like, how long is the FNAF timeline? I don't know, that's a theory for another day. But even if they did keep the full toy animatronics and then just fix them up with a fresh coat of paint for the Pizzaplex, would that even make sense? Well, from what we've seen in the trailers, it actually could, with the red eyes potentially being left over from when the animatronics could have spotted someone in their database, and their security guard-like movements and actions could be left over from that programming as well. And if now they're evil, it would be pretty easy to reverse that code and just make them go berserk on anyone who isn't a threat. I don't know. It could be possible, but holding on to these animatronics for 30 years and then not ever reusing their parts before the Pizzaplex doesn't seem likely. Halfway through into number 5, friendly. Is Glamrock Chica friendly? This is a theory that's been brought up multiple times within the extended wait time for Security Breach's release. However, I don't think we've talked about it much, if at all. We know from trailers and statues that Freddy in this game is going to be our friend. For the first time in the series, an animatronic will really be trying to help us not die. However, after some posters, and more particularly the broken Chica teaser for Security Breach, the possibility of Chica helping us is also on the rise. Aside from potentially being a good partner and bringing us to get food, Chica in this teaser, thanks to a doco stream, actually shows us Glamrock Chica broken, beaten, and missing her beak, to what seems to be the entrance to like the back of the Fazbear Pizzaplex, where they have like delivery trucks and whatnot. But the question is, why would she be broken if she's coming after us? Since it seems like the only thing capable of causing that kind of damage is Monty, who we know is going to be on our ass in that game. So could Glamrock Chica either be helping us the whole time, or more likely be able to switch back at some point to be on the good side, helping us and spending her final animatronic breath to do it? Only time will tell. I need someone as dedicated as Chica. I'm taking applications, ladies. And 4, Stitch Wraith connection. Could Chica have a connection to the Stitch Wraith that none of us know about? Firstly though, let's go over who is the Stitch Wraith. The Stitch Wraith is a mysterious figure wearing Phineas's black trench coat. It wears a white mask, later revealed to be the head of the Simon doll, and the mask's features are drawn on in thick black marker. It has 2 eyes, one of which is blackened, it sports a toothy grin with a missing tooth, and something appears to be stuck between its front teeth. Probably skin. It also appears to have blood around its mouth, but it's actually meant to be pizza sauce, but doubt it is. The rest of its body is an endoskeleton of unknown origin, and in its chest lies Fetch's battery, which glowed red when it killed its creator. It's the antagonist of the Fazbear Frights epilogues, however it seems to have a love of collecting broken animatronic pieces. See where I'm going with this? Could the Stitch Wraith be collecting bits of the Glamrock animatronics? A lot of people seem to believe that the purple arm at the end of the gameplay trailer is the Stitch Wraith's, but what if they're right, and William actually ends up taking over the Stitch Wraith's body, at least in the games? Probably not in the epilogues, but at least in the games. This would be an easy way of introducing the character, if that's the case. Getting close to the end in number 3, just the dream. Could Security Breach, much like FNAF 4, just be a dream? This may seem like a long shot, but look at the Security Breach logo animation from a couple trailers, and more importantly, the last couple of Freddy and Friends cartoons. It starts on its side and then comes up, much like how the FNAF 4 logo in their trailer started on its side and then was raised up, as if someone had just gotten out of bed. Doesn't that seem fairly specific to you? And the inclusion of a teaser with Glamrock Chica missing her beak, like Scott teased during a live stream that Matt Pat among others were having after the release of FNAF 4. During this live stream he asked, in the FNAF 4 minigame, why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? Which made them think back to FNAF 2 and how Chica lost her beak when on the attack. So, with that in mind, why would Glamrock Chica be missing her beak again? Sure, it looks like it was ripped off or destroyed, but why? And why seemingly only, or at least focusing on that beak? It's an interesting theory that links back to one of the most controversial theories in all of FNAF, which, according to a poll on the last gaming premiere, for the top 10 FNAF craziest scary fan theories, a majority of you believe to be true. Interesting. But I mean, to be fair, the Security Breach logo comes from the opposite direction that the FNAF 4 logo did, so maybe that's just indicating that this is in the real world because it's the opposite of a dream. And ultimately, into number 2, Good Cop, Bad Cop. There seems to be 2 separate versions of Toy Chica. One with the guitar and pink sort of bodysuit, I guess it would be, that we see in the gameplay trailers for the main Security Breach game, and the other that we see in Fury's Rage, the side-scrolling beat-em-up that's got released as an apology to the FNAF fans for the game being delayed, since that version seems to be wearing a skirt, jacket, and green high-heel boots. It's actually green, not pink like my script says. Some think that these are in fact two different versions of the characters, since Roxanne, Foxy, and Monty in that game all seem to have different styles as their main counterparts as well. But why? Perhaps because one group of these animatronics is going to help the player and the other are the ones that are attacking, since if you look at the gameplay trailers, those are the only versions we see attacking us, whereas the Fury's Rage versions are fighting off various other animatronics, including alternate versions of Springtrap, who we know is William Afton, so they would worship him if they were actually controlled by him, right? Finally, in at number 1, broken. The ultimate question, however, is ultimately why is Chica's brain bashed in that final security breach teaser image? It's unknown. We seem to be outside the Pizzaplex in the back, which seems to be close to some form of sewer area from what I can see, but Glamrock Chica is absolutely destroyed, especially in the face. The beak is gone, nowhere to be seen, and she even has an arm ripped off. The parallels to Toy Chica from FNAF 2 are being more focused on, especially with this image, yet we still don't know why. As I'm sure you can tell, multiple of these theories mention this image or her missing beak. However, the threads are loose. We don't know why these animatronics are broken. We don't know if they're related or if it's just a red herring. We know nothing about what's going on truly in Security Breach, and I think that's one of the scariest things of all. The sheer mystery behind this game and the horrific implications as such. I'll be surprised if I'm able to sleep tonight. Okay, honestly, I don't think that's the case. I know I'll be fine, but like, it's certainly interesting. I guess we'll have to wait until December to really see. And yes, I think that it's getting released in December in time for like present buying season, because like that makes sense business-wise. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know why, I'm thinking December 17th. Saying it here now, before episode 3 of Freddy and Friends has come out. Just saying. I'm recording this beforehand, December 17th, 2021.